What is up, you guys? My name is Aubrey and this is my channel, and today I want to talk about how the election is going to affect the stock market short term. I'm talking about the next 2 to 4 months short term. I'm going to be talking about where I think the stock market could be headed in the next 2 to 4 months. I'm going to be talking about what my predictions are and what I think is going to happen short term. So let's get started. Now, regardless of the year and the presidential candidates, election years are always kind of considered their own animal in regards to the stock market. The performance in the stock market during election years are always a little bit different than traditional non-election years. And because of that, I think that we can, of course, expect those same types of correlations in the coming months with the stock market as well. For example, looking at historical data, the average election year November actually performs 600 points lower than the average non-election year November. And the S&P 500 only rose 42% of the time in election year Novembers compared to the 66% of the time in non-election year Novembers. So in the month of November with election years, the market underperforms in comparison to traditional years. But on the flip side, in December, the gains are fairly comparable. For example, the average election year December in the S&P 500 has an average gain of 1.4%, while on a non-election year December, it has an average gain of 1.5%. Additionally, election year Decembers have posted a gain 84% of the time, while the non-election year Decembers have posted a gain 74% of the time. But the average increase of those gains has been fairly comparable election year compared to non-election years. But to be honest, I almost feel as though all of these historical data points I've just discussed are a bit irrelevant, because the fact of the matter is, in 2020, the year is just simply not like any other year we've ever seen before. And more than the election, what is going to play a significant role in the stock market in the coming months is the coronavirus stimulus packages, as well as the coronavirus vaccine. Now, I've been saying for a long time that the COVID-19 stimulus package that we may or may not see in the coming months is going to have a hugely significant role in the stock market. I mean, we saw it just 6 to 10 months ago with the original coronavirus stimulus package that was passed in March. We saw huge declines in stocks in March and April, and then once the coronavirus stimulus package was passed, the CARES Act, we saw it go up significantly in the coming months. In fact, we saw all-time highs in the stock market over the summer. That wasn't because the economy was particularly strong. It wasn't because anything was going particularly well, but it was because of the fact that the stimulus package was inflating the economy. It was helping people stay employed. It was helping people to not lose their jobs, to not lose their house, and it was helping people to make ends meet. And I think that exact same thing could happen once a stimulus package is introduced and passed in the government. Now, this has been an ongoing debate, and to be honest, I don't think anybody knows the exact answer. Now, I've been saying that I didn't think that we would get a stimulus package before the election, and as you guys know, and as I know, that did not end up happening. But I do think that we could possibly end up seeing one by the end of 2020 and before we go into 2021. I don't think it's incredibly likely, but I do think it's possible. But if we don't see a stimulus package by the end of this year, I certainly think that we will see one by Q1 of next year. I would be incredibly surprised if we went through Q1 without seeing some sort of stimulus aid. Now, I don't know what that would look like. I don't know who would qualify. I don't know what benefits it would provide, but I would be incredibly surprised if we did not see stimulus in some way, shape, or form come January, February, or March of 2021. Now, even more than just stimulus packages, I think that a vaccine could play an incredibly important role in the stock market. In fact, this is something that stock market experts, analysis, and people that are way smarter than me have been talking about for months. If we get a coronavirus vaccine, that would really change the game as a whole, because that would mean that there is in some way kind of a light at the end of the tunnel of this pandemic. It would mean that that is kind of the beginning of the end for this entire ordeal that the entire world's been dealing with. Once we have a vaccine, it is just a matter of time before people get administered that vaccine, before people can begin traveling again, not only in the United States, but around the world, and once economies can start getting restored. So I really do believe that once a coronavirus vaccine is announced, I think we could see an instant and huge rally in the stock market. Now, the rally may not be permanent, but I do think that we will see a rally in some way across the board in the stock market once that vaccine is finally announced. Now, the frustrating thing about the stock market is that nobody really knows exactly what's going to happen. I mean, yes, you can invest in fundamentally strong companies. You can invest in companies that you most likely know will go up year over year over time. And that is different than what we're currently dealing with today. COVID-19 2020 has completely erased the playbook of the stock market and what we can expect from the stock market for the future and the short-term projections. The fact is that nobody really knows what's going to happen because there is so much that's up in the air. But with that, overall, I think that there is really one one thing that is going to be controlling the stock market in the coming months, and it isn't the election, and that is coronavirus. Coronavirus stimulus packages, coronavirus vaccines, and the overall climate of the coronavirus is really what is going to dictate the stock market in the coming months. Now, of course, I'm not a professional investor. I'm just simply an amateur who finds the stock market interesting. So I, of course, could be wrong with these predictions. But I would love to hear what you guys think and what your predictions are for the coming months with the stock market. What are your predictions for the rest of 2020, going into 2021, and even for the rest of 2021 as well? I would love to hear it, so make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video.